gonna be hard trying to start new routines. So I understand. But once you get it started and your body becomes your muscle memory, you start to get muscle memory, and your body just it automatically does it. It automatically does it because you do it so much. You gotta train yourself. Nothing is easy. You think you just become a track star overnight? You gotta train day after day, year after year. Train. You gotta train yourself. So it's gonna be hard in the beginning. You know, the habits you lock in now become your defaults for life. Like I said, psychologists call this the emerging adulthood phase. So if you spend all your 20s not, challenging yourself or not working out, that's kind of how your 30s and beyond gonna be. What's up, fam? Welcome back to J Russ TV. If you're new to my channel, hit that like, comment, subscribe button. We cover all things business, investing, and sneakers. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. Appreciate you. If you're returning, you already know what's up. Let's get straight into the video. Why I believe your 20s are the most important decade. This is a big one. I just turned 26 myself. Go watch my last previous video. I did some reflection on some things I learned over the first half of my 20s. I'm halfway through my decade of my 20s now. I'm 26. So now I got like 4 more years left till I'm 30. And these are some things that I really think, why the 20s are the most important decade. That if you could set yourself up straight, 10 years, you got good 10 years, a good 10 years to make some type of difference. That's a long time. You can get rich in 10 years. You can come up in 10 years. That's not that long, especially when you 20 to 30. You just getting started, bro. So the first is a trap. Let me just go up, bottom line up front, tell you the major trap that I see a lot of people do in their 20s. And that's practice. They consider it as a practice decade, or they're waiting until they feel ready to really do something, and that's a big mistake. Some people say I'm too young, or I'm gonna wait till I get 30, or I'm just gonna wait a couple more years. I'm still 20. I have time on my hands. No, we don't have time. Pros and cons of working in your 20s is you have time to recover, but you also don't have enough time to, take advantage of it. You still that's not enough time to take advantage of your 20s, if that makes sense. But y'all get what I'm saying. But I know plenty of people that are in their late 20s now. They don't have no driver's license. They don't have no car. Get it? I know car is expensive, but if you need to be working by 25, you should have wheels. And if you really like 21, by 21, you should be having some type of wheels, like whether that's, I know everybody not fortunate enough to have a car, but go get some beater, some 3-band beater, get a job, save up, get you a beater. Have some type of transportation though. Like I don't know how people be going. I've seen people late mid-20s know nothing, bruh. You feel me? It's another decade where people tend to not take advantage of their youthfulness as far as getting an education, whether that's going to a university, going to a trade school, becoming an entrepreneur, trying and failing. All those things matter in your 20s because it's the year you have to experiment experiment enough to where what direction you want to go in by 25, I say, in my opinion. But don't waste this time, guys. Do not waste this time. This is valuable time. I'm 26 and it's like I feel like it go by fast, bro. It go by fast, and I'm really reflecting I'm glad I can look back and see what things that I've done, things I accomplished, or things that I maintained over the first half of my 20s, because I'm in the second half and it's getting real. It's getting real. But my second point is identity and foundation. Your 20s are for when you're building your career path, your values, your relationship patterns, healthy habits. All these compound over years. Psychologists call this the emerging adulthood phase. This is the last window of true identity flexibility before life hardens into routine. And what I mean by this is that your 20s, you're able to learn so much. You're able to soak so much knowledge up. You're still young. Your frontal lobe doesn't develop until you're like 25, how you make sound decisions. But you're learning so much. That's why I'm taking this time in now to learn a lot about AI. I went back to get my MBA currently right now, and with a concentration in international business. I'm writing Substack articles. I'm trying to use my brain to its capacity. Keep using it. Keep trying to learn. Keep the habits going, because this is what's going to compound over these next 4 years. I got a big 2030 big goal, honestly. 2030 is going to be a big goal for me. it matches up with my age 30 and the new decade. Like, so it's gonna be a double whammy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a double whammy for real. I'm gonna be 30 years old and it's gonna be 2030. Dude, new decade, bro. That's crazy to think about. Sorry. That's just crazy to think about though. But yeah, this is the years where you're building your foundation, your identity. You want to take time to really understand who you are. So by the time you get to 30, you're not still trying to figure out who you are. Because that's just delay. That's wasted time. That's wasted time. Like, what was you doing in your 20s? Find out who you are. Find out what you like. I'm learning myself too, what I like, what I don't like. I like the gym. I like making content. I like working. These are everything I do now is what I like to do, and it's what I've learned. And sometimes you got to go back to what you like to do as a kid that kept you entertained. And that's what I'm doing now. Third point, compound returns on everything. So your money invested at 22 years old versus 32 years old can mean the difference of hundreds of thousands at retirement. Time is in the market is irreplaceable. If you want to see some examples, go to my investing for beginners video on my page. I show you all compound interest and how real it is. $100 a month invested at 21 versus $100 invested a month starting at 31 are two completely different trajectories at 65. Like you might be missing out on millions, bro. Millions, hundreds of thousands. Just by starting 5-10 years with $100, $5, $10, $500 a month. It adds up. But this same logic applies to other skills as well. Your skills, your habits, your relationships, all the things that you're doing now. If you keep talking to that toxic dude or that toxic girl, that's going to compound over the next decade of your 20s. You know what I mean? You don't continue to stay sharp. You don't continue to educate yourself. That's going to compound over your 20s. 10 years of not reading nothing. 10 years of not challenging yourself or starting a new project. All these things matter. They compound over time. Everything. Money compounds over time. Your health compounds over time. You spend all your 20s sitting on the couch eating chips, late night Netflix, ice cream. I be crunching some ice cream too, though. I got a sweet tooth, but I go to the gym consistently every week, and I built that into a routine. And it's gonna be hard trying to start new routines. So I understand, but once you get it started and your body becomes your muscle memory, you start to get muscle memory, and your body it automatically does it. It automatically does it because you do it so much. You gotta train yourself. Nothing is easy. You think you can just become a track star overnight? You gotta train day after day, year after year. Train. You gotta train yourself. So it's gonna be hard in the beginning. You know, the habits you lock in now become your defaults for life. Like I said, psychologists call this the emerging adulthood phase. So if you spend all your 20s not, challenging yourself or not working out, that's kind of how your 30s and beyond gonna be. Not saying it's set in stone, but it's gonna be very hard to change those habits. And I'm learning that now. I'm trying to build new habits now over these next 4 years till I'm 30 because it's some habits I don't like right now that I want to change, honestly. I think I'm on the fourth one is career capital. The skills, the reputation, the network you build in your 20s set the ceiling for your 30s and beyond. So make sure you're taking advantage of all the rooms you're being put in right now in your 20s. Keep that network up because these people might be coming handy in the next 5, 10, 15 years from now. You never know. Your reputation. Are you shown to put in good work for 5, 10 years? Your 10,000 hours, your 10 decades? I think 10 decades is when you can become more so of an expert or something, or or really, really, really give sound advice. Really, really give sound advice. But you just got that reputation in there, your skill sets. Early career risks are cheapest to take. Right now it's fewer obligations. You have more recovery time. Like I said, you got time on both sides and higher tolerance for failure. I failed so many times in my early 20s, these past 5, 6 years, but I got time in my hand. I could bounce back. And once you get the knowledge, you good. You know what to do the next go around, like the next run, you know what to do, not to fumble, not to mess up. I'm learning that right now. And most major career pivots and bold bets get harder with every passing year. Right now, you might be able to job hop every couple years, but when you turn 33 and you married and got kids and a family to take care of, you don't want job hop like that. You ain't throwing when you get 40, 50, you might not be throwing 10 bands in that stock. and say, well, let's see what happened. Calculate the risk, of course, but you're gonna be like, I'm trying to retire soon, so let me not take as much risk. But in your 20s, I'm a risk taker, baby, and I'm making sure I take advantage of that right now. My next point is the neurological reality. Your prefrontal cortex, which most people are familiar with it. It's basically your decision making, your impulse control, your long term thinking. It isn't fully developed until you hit 25. Now, I've been trying to think long term since 20. You can go on my YouTube page. So that's why I've been documenting all this type of stuff right now, so y'all can see, and I can see later, the work you got put in, the levels, there's different stages of life, and it's beautiful when you can go back and look at it and see how all those things compound over time. But this also means the brain isn't highly plastic. It's still highly plastic. You're uniquely capable of deep learning and rewiring during this window. Like I was saying earlier, going back to get your MBA, to learning a new skill set. I'm trying to learn AI right now. I'm trying to learn what training, what inference is, what data centers are, all those type of things. I'm learning. I'm deep diving into these companies and seeing what really I like it. I enjoy it. I like tech. So, but it's challenging my brain a lot. I'm writing these papers, these research reports that I want to do and drop. I say every quarter, every 3 months or something like that. But I'm trying to learn right now because I know this part of my brain gonna be the strongest. No gap. And after 30, neuroplasticity becomes meaningfully declined. So being able to learn new stuff, like they say, learn a language. Kids should learn a language when they're young, 5, 10 years old in that age range, because you can just soak up so much stuff so fast. The older you get, it gets harder. Next is relationship and social capital. So most lifelong relationships and romantic partnerships form in your 20s. Social networks naturally shrink after that. And that's so true. You're not out and about in your you're out and about all the time in your 20s. You're traveling, you're hanging out with friends, you're at event here, you're in college, surrounded around hundreds of thousands of people that you find somebody. You got high school, give or take, and then you're just out and about in your 20s. When you hit 30s and beyond, you ain't gonna be out like that. You're probably gonna be behind a desk more than not, doing the work from 9 to 5, and you get off. And maybe if you're single, you might go out and do some stuff. But if not, I find it now it's hard. I know a lot of older people that don't have many friends because they fell out with their friends when they're in the 20s, and now they're 30s. They don't have too many friends or good relationships. And it's like, it's not as easy to make relationships when you're 30 and beyond. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard. I get what I'm saying. Most of my friends are from like pre-K elementary type school, and then I got some other high school, middle school friends, and a couple in my early 20s. But I ain't making new friends like that crazy unless it's like on some business tip. You feel me? The quality of your close relationship at 30 is one of the strongest predictors of happiness and health at 70. That's a Harvard study of adult development study. So that's facts. The quality of your close relationships at 30 is one of your strongest predictors of happiness and health at 70. So that means people at 70, they're not saying money. They're not saying the fancy cars, all this stuff. They saying your friendships, your relationships are what keep you happy, in your health. Relationships and health. That's major. That's major. And now in my 20s, maybe it's because my frontal lobe is developed, but that's what I'm starting to do now. I was asking myself the other day, like, what really makes you happy? Like, what will really complete everything? Because you don't need, now by all means, I'm a grinder, I'm a hustler. This might be off topic. I'm a grinder, I'm a hustler. I like working. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are you grinding and hustling for? Like, and I came to the conclusion, it's like family, friends, health. The main things that matter: family, friends, health, of course, wealth, and then a fine wife. Those are the main things I say for myself, and God, and a relationship with God. But it's like, it's not too many. It's not, when you really narrow it down, it's just having a good relationship overall with everybody, family, friends, God, have some wealth, have some money, and then someone to do that with for the rest of your life. It's pretty simple, when you think about it. Well, for me personally. And the last point is your risk tolerance window. No other decade gives you the same combination of energy, freedom, and a long runway to recover than your 20s. Taking bold swings, starting a new business, moving to different cities, changing careers. has the lowest downside ever in your 20s. Versus you can't do that in your 30s, guys. Now you maybe can, but that's when you're gonna start settling down. You getting tired. You're not gonna be able to move. I'm still gonna be able to move, but most people not, you know. But yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is why your 20s, this decade is the most important, guys. Hope y'all learned something from this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you're in your 20s right now, take advantage. Even if you're 30s, you still got some time. But take advantage. Every day wasted is a day wasted. You know, JRuss TV, we out.